You guys, this is Charles from the Traders Corner podcast. Today, I have a few clips from an accountability call I had with another trader friend of mine. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope it provides some value to you. Thank you. Just for the strategy, I was also doing something like I don't like to just backtest just for my strategy in one day because I feel like if you do that like a bunch of times, like it'll become a bit monotonous and you're not gonna want to do it. So it's like I try to like sprinkle in something else where it's like, you know, I'm thinking of another idea, and so I guess I was like thinking of that idea more as I was doing my backtesting throughout the week. Because like I took less trades, but the win loss ratio was like about the same again. So I was like, all right, it's not that serious, but I thought it was just interesting to see how like what you're thinking about in terms of other stuff that you're doing trading wise can like affect the backtesting that you're doing now, which is like, I think it's something interesting that I would like. It'd be nice to tell other people, but trading wise, I took like 6 trades this week, 4 on pound USD, actually 5 on pound USD, and then 1 on Aussie USD, and I went like 4 for 6, but it was I thought it was good just because like I would kind of just show up after taking a win, and I'll kind of just be like, oh, okay, like that was a win. I just saw another one. Let me just put it on, and I would just like go back to like work or whatever, or like go back to my back testing. And so that's kind of like I was kind of more happy that I didn't even really give a shit about the wins almost. Like it was kind of just something where I was like, I kind of just kept showing up and just doing the same thing and not even really just kind of like thinking about it. But I was like, yeah, there's my, entry, and like, let me go do all this stuff that I need to do. And like, I just put it on. And so, I thought it was a good week in that sense. And especially because, and on top of that, I was like just more happy that I was finally done testing. I was like, I don't know, I've been trying to like do so much testing and retesting for like 3-4 months. And I'm like, I'm just happy to finally have something where I'm like, yeah, like I think I'm finally actually done. So now I'm trying to figure out like what it is that I'm going to try to work on next. So I think I talked about it with you recently or on the last call where it was like,
staying focused.
yeah, trying
You
to,
don't need to change what's working.
yeah, that's what I told myself. I'm like, I'm kind of tired. And so I realized that today. I woke up and like I was doing work and I was like, oh, I'm fucking tired as shit. I just, and I had a headache, and so I fell asleep, and I ended up sleeping for like 3 hours. And so I was like, yeah, I'm way more tired than I thought. So I definitely need to let myself rest a little bit and kind of like give myself, I guess you'd say, a bit of a reward for like having worked so hard. But like I kind of want to, like you were saying, like I'm scared to kind of like revert now, and kind of backtrack. So it's like I'm trying to keep thinking of things to test, thinking of things to like work on, and like ways to improve. And like now I'm trying to figure out ways to think about the psychology side. Like I hate sounding like I know what I'm doing in terms of psychology, but when you've been in trading for so long, you learn that psychology really is just more of a battle of like you trying to work on your psychology, whatever that means for you. So it's like, yeah, I'm kind of in that point now where it's like, is there something more I could have been doing besides what I've done in the past in terms of like to work on my psychology that I should be doing? Is there anything that like you do that you don't even really see other people do, like in terms of psychology, and like it really helps you? But like to me, it's like even if that's the case, would that really work for me, type thing? So it's like I'm trying to like figure that out right now too, because I don't want it to just be about like me working on the technical side of things. While I know that's like wildly important, and it's gonna bleed into my psychological trust in the strategy and me doing the right things psychologically. Like I know that on the same token, I need to work on the psychology side, especially with what we talked about like last week. I definitely need to like make sure that like that's really like pinpoint almost. So it's like that's kind of where I'm at now. Like, what do I do to kind of try to improve my psychology? Do I go reread books that I've reread a bunch of times already? Like, I don't know. Like, because it's like I may say like, no, I don't need to do that. But then is that me saying like, I think I'm too good for that? Or is that more so like, you've gotten the most that you can out of it? Like, that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Well, it's like, are you really gonna learn something new from the
Right.
books, or is it just a lack of execution of
Right.
your knowledge? You know what I mean? Like that was an issue that I had for a long time. Is I kept thinking like
I need to know
I
more.
was missing something, or yeah, like, and I realized like the a lot of the times the answers that we're looking for, the solutions to our problems, they're right in here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you don't really have to, like, you a lot of the times we've put in the work, like we've, like you said, you've already read the books,
yeah,
so you already know what to do. So
right.
now it's just a matter of doing it and then doing it consistently, just like with your trading. Like I realized, like I'm talking to one of my friends, one of my only other trading friend, I guess, and like she's kind of in a place where she's still like hitting the technicals really hard, and I'm in a place where I'm just like, I don't really worry about the technicals. Like I know either I'm going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. Really all I need to just focus on is executing, and then like not like being detached from the outcome, right? I don't need to read a book to learn how to be detached from the outcome. I need to know that the outcome doesn't matter because the probabilities are on my side. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like understanding where your issues are. Like so maybe an exercise you could do would be like write down your psychology, like what it is that you have to deal with, and then what solutions you can come up with. Like something that I was doing for a while was I was really inconsistent with writing down like my values and affirmations and stuff every day. So then I just challenged myself 14 days straight, you know, and it's just like I really like the idea of like challenge culture, like push
Yeah,
yourself. But I really think it's important to push yourself in the way that you need to be pushed. Like a lot of these challenges are just so generic, and I mean, like, yeah, it can do like it's one thing. It's meant to like make you mentally tougher, but like, is mental toughness all that you need, or is like a different kind of skill set that you need to cultivate with a different kind of challenge, right?
that's that's interesting that you say that because it's like I think a lot of the same way in terms of when I was thinking of, and this is why I felt like what you were saying in terms of like you have the knowledge already, so just execute on it. Because if I thought back on when points in my trading career when my psychology has been like at its like at its peak, is when I was really just focused mostly on doing something like I have this daily goal that I need to improve on this thing in my aspect of my life, and I do it, or I've been doing it like not every single day, like very consistently, very consistently, like, and I had kind of like there was a point where like I would just try to like stack them, like all right, first I need
Yeah.
to work on this, and like that's kind of what I'm trying to do now because it's like much like you with like writing my values and affirmations, I was consistent with that. I was like, where am I consistent already and where am I not consistent? And I was like, I write down my goals and I write down my values and affirmations every day. Like that's not a problem. But I don't meditate every day like I say I should. Like I don't do this like every day like I say I should. And so I've been focusing on like first thing I was like, first thing you need to do is like if you're gonna be good with your psychology coming into the market, you should probably do some meditation. Like just to kind of have some mindfulness and like be understand where you're thinking right now. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like where your head's at. And so I was like, that's the first thing I should work on. And now like I'm trying to like stack different things like, reading 20 pages a day. Cause like I'm definitely somebody who I understand why people read. Like I'm not gonna fault people who talk about how CEOs say like, oh, I read 50 pages of 50 books a year, like all this kind of stuff. But like, I'm definitely more somebody I'm like, the pages can only do so much and you actually have to do the shit because it's like you don't learn anything from reading something. All you learn how to do is like spit the information back. But like especially in life, like you need to actually do things. So it's like I haven't been that consistent with reading, but at the same time it's like even though I might feel this way, it is still good to read and like get different knowledge that you can then try to implement, right? And like read on a regular basis, and that's a better habit to have than watching TV on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and like you mentioned, like challenge culture, like one thing that I was trying to do in terms of like trying to build this, I guess you would say, mental fortitude of like showing up and doing the same thing every day. I was trying to do the 75 hour challenge, and I just realized I kept coming back and just like not doing it, not doing it. And then I was like, I'm not really motivated to do this because like a vast majority of this challenge doesn't really apply to what I need right now. Like it's a vast majority of the challenge is about like your fitness. I'm like, I already go to the gym every single day just because it's like I've been growing up playing sports most of my life. Like I like going to the gym most of the time. Like that's not really a challenge for me. Like me like having to go work out twice a day is not really something that I found challenging. Like the hardest part of the shit for me was like reading. And I was like, well, why don't I just fucking focus on that and just focus on me trying to read every day? You know what I'm saying? And it's just like all that other shit is kind of just ancillary because like if I miss a workout, like I know I'm more than likely gonna come back the next day and do a workout or do two because it's like I'm going to want to come back and do a workout. It's not even that like I have to challenge myself to do that. It's because I have to. And like it's interesting that you say it's like challenge culture is good, but only in like a certain context in terms of like what it is that you need to challenge yourself, you know? So it's like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out those things, like what it is that I need to work on in terms of like what's going to challenge me the most, you know, in terms of psychology. So yeah, it's interesting you say that. What about like, how's,
Um, One of my favorite quotes, bro, is from what is it? TJ Millionaire Mentor. I think his name's like Todd Johnson, and he says, "Life is a marathon, but for the highly successful, it's a marathon of sprints, right?" So it's like at some points you're just going to be really pushing yourself in certain aspects, and then at other times you're going to kind of like to be taking a break. So like essentially what I did was just kind of take the week off because I really wanted to focus. Like essentially my trading is at a point where it's in maintenance mode, right? I had to grow in trading, then I wouldn't be able to start something new. Like you can't start one that needs to grow while and then start another one that also needs to grow, right? So
right,
it's like I just am like, okay, trading is in maintenance mode. Like, what do I really need to do? Do I need to do more? Like, I know what the charts are going to do. I know what the likelihood of my trade outcomes are going to be. I know what I'm looking for in the market. Like, there's not a whole lot to do with trading because I'm not trying to push it, right? If I was trying to push it, it'd be different. But I'm not trying to push it. So I said essentially trading is just on maintenance mode. Like, I want to say I almost took the week off because I had such crappy sleep. And I'm excited actually to go next week after the holiday and then like get back into having trading as more of a focus in the mornings. But
mm-hmm.
essentially that's what I do is like but you kind of like you have a job, so it's going to be a little bit different. But I essentially will just like focus on trading in the morning, looking for my setup, you know what I mean? And then like if something is going to present or whatever, like I don't have to be actively at the charts in order to trade. I can either set alerts or just set a limit order. And then that's pretty much it. So like my trading, like I've been working towards this is making it very hands off.
Yeah,
So since my approach is hands off and it's in maintenance mode, it makes it really easy for me to just hop on in the mornings, look at the charts, and then just go about everything else that I need to do for the day. Because it's either I'm going to get into a trade, take a loss, get into a trade, take a break even, get into a trade, take a win. Like there's no reason to like hover over the trade or whatever. So I put that on to management mode and then